Looking like tiki masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need a seat breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some make noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an encore. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. Oh, apps on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana, been in since 2020, now go check it out, look at the roster, build a armada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off, man it's an honor. Looking like tiki masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need a seat breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some make noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an encore. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. Oh, apps on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana, been in since 2020, now go check it out, look at the roster, build a armada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off, man it's an honor. Looking like tiki masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need a seat breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some make noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an encore. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. Oh, apps on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana. Shout out Solana, been in since 2020, now go check it out, look at the roster, build a armada. I wanna shake all their hands, get those watch parties ready to pop off, man it's an honor. Looking like tiki masala, the way they be cooking up all the Solana sauce. If you like keeping up, you can come hear about it at the call. Need a seat breakpoint, gonna get a ticket and I'm gonna make some make noise. In the purple eco when we stay full, projects full of hype, yeah, I'll wait like an encore. Shock 'em every time like a taser, blowing all the minds at some builder behavior. 65k TPS, only race with the best, ain't nobody that we wait for. Oh, apps on pro that we got the best around. W's on W's, dropping W's, it's getting loud. Won't hold back, reload at the speed of the sound. Whole squad, hold it down. TVO will make you proud. Super team is in the house. I'm making music, you just shout. I'm rocking out with my doubt. You ain't even know how. Did anybody think that we would never have a moment that would make you wow? We got hella builders in the coat and rust, but looking nice and super shiny now.
Well, hello, and welcome back to another ecosystem call, my friends. And I do mean it Literally, I see all the homies in the chat already. Shout out to my guy Cap. I see Linny's out here. Giancarlo, been here since day one. My boy Mike and so many others. I don't even have time to say hello to everybody on here. But it's great to be back. I know these have been a little bit more infrequent, but the fact is, too much stuff is happening on Solana right now for me to do anything else besides an ecosystem call and run everybody through it. So without further ado, let's get into it. He said as he figured out how to share his screen, you would think I'm a professional. I promise I've done this before. And there we go. Here it is. It is the ecosystem call. It is August 14th, 2025, powered by Super Team. Shout out to all the Super Teams that are out there. Alex already calling out my cursing. I'm really going to try not to curse this time. I have gotten better about it over time. We are so back and it feels so good. Yes, I did have to have this Wojak meme explained to me by the intern. So shout out to the intern, but the vibes are good. And that means Solana Ecosystem Call had to come back. In case it's your first time here, let me tell you what we do. We do not talk about the price. Instead, what we do is examine all the fundamentals that should make you bullish about the Solana ecosystem as a whole. I'm talking the projects, the network improvements itself, the people, the communities, all of that's outside the charts. That is what makes Solana so exciting. So this call is really all about you. It's for the Solana ecosystem, by the Solana ecosystem, and it is just the best. There is a secret, though, to what makes this call work, and that is the chat, which I can see is already on fire, and I love it to see it. People in here, my guy Faraj and Cap and Wall Street Bets is in here. Shout out to my guy Carlo, Sarthi. Just too many. Super Team is the cheat code, says Alpha on NFTs, and he's not wrong. Mo knows that to be true, as do Fib and Simon. Super Team Canada in the building. Too many good things are happening here. Get into the chat. If you are watching live, you can scan this QR code right now. It'll take you over to YouTube. That's probably going to be the easiest, best way to do it. W to La Familia as well. Please do this. I think you'll enjoy it. The call is much more fun when it's kind of interactive and going back and forth. If you are watching on Twitter, and we do have a few thousand people already watching on Twitter, join the chat to say hi. You have to click into the chat box in order to be able to see the chat and get into it. Now, joining the chat is it's like honesty. It's a virtue in and of itself. Just being a part of the chat should be enough reason to do it. But I figured, hey, just in case you needed a little extra something, we're starting off right away with a giveaway. I am bad at business, but I'm very good at providing for the chat. And so what we're going to do today, I reached out to the homie, shout out to my guy Sorcier over at Ledger. I said, Ledger, is there anything we can do for the chat today on the Solana Ecosystem Call? They said, we love Solana. So the two best chatters today are going to be getting a free Ledger Flex Solana edition. I'm not paid to do this, by the way. I genuinely believe this is the best hardware wallet I've ever used in my life. Connects to your phone by Bluetooth, touchscreen, crazy battery life. Drop a little W in the chat if you already have one. You are absolutely going to love them. I can promise you this is the single best device I've used in crypto on the hardware level. So if you're not in the chat before, you're going to want to get into it now. There are a few $100 each. We got two of them for the best folks in the chat. Big thank you to the Ledger folks. One, for making a great product, and two, for supporting the Solana community. We love to see it. Cash, that's the dog. That's right. GM to everybody over there. Honestly, the chat's going so fast, I can't even read it. If you don't have one, you're going to have to get in there. Major shout out to all the watch parties. It's crazy how many people come together. The Solana community is so strong. Almost swore again. So, obrigado. I hope I said that right. To my homies over in Brazil, I know they've got a bunch of watch parties in Nigeria. I think there's like 29 of them. There's like 10,000 of them in India, including the homies in Nagpur. Of course, all across Europe, we have them going on, in Vietnam and all across Southeast Asia, North America, just everywhere. All around the world, it's happening right now. Solana community on top for now, forever. This is going to be a blast. It's going to make it a lot of fun. Mert says, if I don't actually get the Ledger, I'm going to have to market sell. His keyboard is really weird. So shout out to the homie Mert out here as well. Mert going to get a special mention later on as well. With that all said, let's get into it. We're going to be playing a fun game today, which is called Will Cash Miss His Flight? I have to leave for the airport at 7:05 my local time. That's about 5 minutes after the call is supposed to end. We're already about 5 minutes behind, so not looking great, folks, but let's get into it anyway. Here is what we got coming for you today.
Feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel. Feel like I should feel. Like I should feel like, should feel like, should
That's right. The homie Eno is back and better than ever. It is a delight to have him. I'm a little bit nervous because we don't have any other guests, but Eno is more than enough. He's going to be taking us through Solana Global and a bunch of the other things that came through there. So we're going to talk the big W, 15 major pieces of news that you might have missed in the Solana ecosystem as of late. Then a segment called Definitely Not Financial Advice, fan favorite. We're talking digital asset treasuries, private market makers or proprietary market makers, and Revcoins, which is a new term I'm going to try to meme into existence. Then Solana Global, bunch of giveaways, earn your crypto, the confessional at the end. We'll see how this all goes. GM to Drift to Diego to everybody else. Honestly, I can't keep up. This is too good right now. We got a lot to go through, so I'm going to jump right into it in hopes of not missing my flight. Hilo. Yes, Hilo. That's a tough GM, but I do appreciate it. All right. First segment, the big W. Shout out to Goatfish on all the visuals here. Let's get into it. Win number one, Solana is top 2. And by the way, it ain't number 2. Had to bring this up over here. Number 1 in developer growth. Number 1 in app revenue, which actually really matters. Number 1 in new asset issuance. Number 1 in TPS, median fees, and median fee volatility, which actually also really matters from an end user perspective. Number 1, of course, in active wallets and in transactions across the board. You're going to have to give me a W. If you're watching this, you probably already knew that Solana was number 1. That's probably why you're here. But it never hurts to remind folks that, Solana on top on a bunch of the metrics that really matter. As I said, we're talking not here about price, but about the fundamentals. You follow the developers, you follow the users, you follow the businesses. That is where the future is going to be. And that's all happening on Solana right now. Win number 2, stablecoin summer. Heating up, getting a little spicy. Shout out to Tamar, Ilhan, and everybody else over at the foundation who's helping with this, along with all the different teams. Total supply of stablecoins on Solana now above 11 billion. That's a 3x increase year on year. Stablecoin transfers 215 billion in July alone, just on Solana. Stablecoins across crypto are now doing more volume than Visa and MasterCard. If you would have told basically anybody that 2 or 3 years ago, they would have laughed directly in your face. Trillions of dollars of volume are being settled in stablecoins. Massive, massive deal. And I want to give a little special spotlight to a new entrant on the scene here. Do people know USDG? In the chat, give me a little W if you know USDG already. Very cool new approach. Tether, USDT, Circle, USDC. I mean, some of the best companies in all of humanity, quite frankly, not just in crypto. Great. When you hold those assets, or protocols hold those assets, or treasuries hold their assets, you don't get any of the yield from the underlying treasuries. That's fine. No shade. It's their business. They should do what they like. USDG has got an interesting model. It's coalition-based, and they actually share back the yield from the treasuries to people that are helping drive adoption of it. A little bit of alpha for you there. I think that USDG is going to do some cool things. I just want to shout that out. I like that we're seeing kind of innovations on the mechanics that are coming here for how these are being done to help kind of grow the pie. So there you go. USDG is goated. The yield, baby, sweet baby yield. That's right. Win number 3. Seekers are on the move right now. Totally, Emmett, Ross, the rest of the gang over there. They got the phones more than a year in the making. This is one of the things that I love about Solana. The first phone, award-winning. Not necessarily the award you would want to win, but it did win an award. But undeterred by some of the speed bumps or difficulties on the first generation, came back swinging with another one. More than a year in development. They are shipping now to people all over the world. I was hoping I'd have mine so I could show it off, but I don't have it yet. If you want a Seeker, stick around till the end of the call. We're going to be giving away 3 of them to people who are watching this call right now. And we'll talk a little bit more about what makes it so special. But this is what I love about Solana. Taking the big, bold swings that other ecosystems are either unable or afraid to take. Is it going to work? I don't know. Is it going to replace the iPhone? In the short term, probably not. In the longer term, who knows? But I think this is a really important kind of step forward and a bold bet that makes me proud to be a Solana boy, Solana manlet here. Win number 4, the first of many wins from Jito, by the way. I see the W's in the chat going crazy right now. Jito Sol has an ETF that is live for staked Sol with an LST called Jito Sol, crossed $20 million in volume in the first 2 hours of listing. Like an hour ago, it just hit an all-time high. This is huge on the policy side. I got a whole segment later on about traditional capital markets. So I'm going to save it to talk over there. I just wanted to say this is incredible work by Rebecca Buffalo Thomas, the rest of the gang over there, the Solana Policy Institute. Major advancement for the entire industry, not just for Solana happening here. And don't you worry, the Solana spot ETFs are coming too. So shout out to everyone on this one. Martin is convinced he's getting that Ledger Flex. He doesn't have a cold wallet. You definitely need to grab one. That is a fact. Win number 5, another one from the Jito gang here. The block assembly marketplace is live on testnet as of a few days ago. Drop a little bam for me in the chat. Bam, 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 says Mike and Monarchy. They're both right. Bam is super cool. This is actually, as Mert pointed out, one of the biggest kind of fundamental changes to how Solana could work in quite some time. The basic idea here is that you have the ability for applications to control their own execution through this addition to the Jito validator client. It's very cool. It happens within this kind of trusted private environment called a TEE. There's a lot more to say about it, but like the bottom line that I think is the most interesting is that it allows applications to do tons of different things that allow them to generate more revenue and be more effective as protocols. As one example, Hyperliquid famously allows market makers to prioritize cancel orders. That way they don't get picked off. It makes it safer and easier for the market makers to participate, draws in more liquidity. Can't really do that on Solana today, right? Because it's a general purpose L1. There's a lot of people with a lot of different needs. With BAM, individual protocols can add that functionality in, which can help draw on that more liquidity, create new revenue streams, and do a bunch of other things, help reduce MEV, and so on and so forth. Big technical innovation. The W's are flowing as well they should be. This is a very big deal, and I think going to only continue to become a bigger deal over time. Win number 6, the world is tokenizing on Solana. RWAs, a lot of talk, Solana's all about meme coins. Solana's all about this, that. RWAs are coming on Solana in a big way, more than doubled already over the course of just this year, approaching 500 million, partially because of tokenized stocks. Shout out to the X-Stocks homies. You can now trade Tesla, Apple, and many other tokenized equities on chain. If you go to Jupiter, you can actually see the little screener with all of them. Shout out to R3, who's looking to bring 10 billion with a B in RWAs to Solana. And of course, ton of great startups in the RWA space. In particular, shout out to the homies at Oro, MetaWealth, Agridex, because I know those guys personally, and I think they're all awesome. But really, the reason this is so interesting, the future of finance, I've said this many times, is not DeFi versus TradFi, right? It's DeFi plus TradFi. It's internet assets and real world assets together in a global unified market. That is the future of where we're going. And you're seeing that start to happen on Solana right now. That's a W in the chat. That is a W in the chat for sure. Speaking of underappreciated narratives, DPIN has been out of the news lately, but they continue to crush all-time highs for revenues in June. Please remember this. What we like to do on Solana, we like real businesses that generate real value for real people in the real world. Show me the revenues. It's starting to come in the DPIN space here. 3 things to call out in particular. Dawn, shout out to the homies at Dawn, shipped the Black Box, a next generation decentralized Wi-Fi router. People should definitely check that out. I think they raised a ton of money, crazy adoption already. They're crushing. Super cool project to learn more about. Helium, co-founder Mert was just in the chat over here. Shout out to Mert on the Helium. 400,000 active hotspots in 80 different countries. This is what real world adoption looks like, folks. Pipe Network, another newer entrant, bringing decentralized storage and content delivery on chain as well in this kind of trustless, verifiable fashion. What is great about all of these is that DPIN remains one of the most unique industries in crypto. It can only happen on crypto rails. And what you're seeing is it continues to scale, whether it's in the news or not. That's another W in the chat. My guy, Mattia from Super Deep Balkan, saying HiveMapper mapped 35% of the world through this kind of decentralized mechanism of DPIN. Incredible stuff. Big W's all across. I hope we're getting all the... I think the internet is struggling to even get all the W's on the screen because there are, in fact, so many. Let's keep going. Win number 8. Now we talk about just how much the network has been crushing. Oh my God, it's been crushing. New all-time record for transactions per second. A little clap to all the validators, all the network engineers for making this happen. 1,318 transactions in a single second happening in July. Highest ever recorded across all crypto ecosystems. Remember, there's a difference between what people say their chain can do and what those chains actually do in practice. And it's a function both of the tech as well as demand, right? Solana can actually do even more transactions than this potentially as well. But you need people who want to use the chain, and the people, they want to use Solana. All-time record. The number again, 1318 banger. Yeah, as Martin says, we're breaking our own records here. That is a fact. That is basically all we are doing. How did this happen? Well, one, it's because of demand, but two, it's because the network keeps getting better. If you like big blocks and you cannot lie, drop a little W in the chat for me right now, please. The compute unit limit on blocks was increased by 20%, which is a pretty big deal. People maybe don't know this, but each block has only a certain amount of computation that can happen within it in order for the network to be fast and decentralized and all that kind of stuff. Now that it's gone from 50 million to 60 million, you can actually have more complex transactions and just more transactions in general in each block. But what's incredibly cool, there's a SIMD, a development proposal out to raise that up to 100 million. So doubling. The reason this is such an important story is you have to get this into your mind. No network is improving at the pace that Solana is. Sure, the tech to start with is quite good. The architecture is good. There's a lot of chains that have good architecture and good approaches. The difference about Solana is that it gets better rapidly. Never satisfied with being the most performant chain. You can always be more performant. And yes, I see some folks like big blocks and they cannot lie, including the folks over at Kumeka. Shout out to my Kumeka friends over here. One other thing to point out, I have to say this now, that's not enough. The network is getting even better. This is one of the more underappreciated stories about Solana right now, Alpenglow. Remember the name, Alpenglow. Alpenglow is going to be able to, if it works, bring down finality to 150 milliseconds. Just for context right now, each block on Solana right now is 400 milliseconds, and the actual time to settle for finality can be as much as 1 or 2 seconds, right? So this is a dramatic, an order of magnitude improvement through a new consensus protocol. Mind-boggling stuff. I won't pretend to explain it to you because I don't know it. But here's the bottom line for you. In Q4 or Q1, those are the rumors of when it's going to come out, Solana itself will have the exact same kind of speed as Web 2 applications, centralized exchanges, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to feel like that. This has always been one of the complaints with decentralized systems. They're slower, they're inefficient. Alpenglow can solve it. Massive W, incredibly impressive kind of stuff over here. We still have 5 more. Fuck, I gotta sorry for swearing. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly because we have a lot to go through today. Win number 11, raising the bar for transparency. I love to see this. Blockworks, shout out my guy Yano and the rest of them, put together an excellent token transparency framework. 5 of the top 10 most transparent teams. Solana, shout out to MetaDAO, the homies at Sanctum, Jito, Jupiter, and Layer 3, which is technically also an EVM project, but my guy Kumar over there, he's my guy, so I got to include him as well. Love to see it. Transparency, important on Solana. Number 12, Bitcoin, the most actively traded, is the most active Bitcoin trading is happening on Solana. 59% of all trading wallets that are trading Bitcoin, it's happening over here, which makes sense. This is the place where you want to get execution, where you want to do trading. Love to see this one as well. Pretty crazy. You can do an $8 million order, $8.5 million order with 99 bips, just 1% slippage. Incredible stuff. Win number 13, we had to do it. I got to step back. You need a little W in the chat. You need a little clapping emoji in the chat over here. Radium has joined the 4 comma club. More than $1 trillion in lifetime volume. Listen, these are all just numbers, but some of these milestones, they feel pretty good. Radium's been building for years, been building great tech for years. So a W well-deserved for them. There's not a lot of protocols out there that are in the $1 trillion club. 4 commas on it. Radium's one of it. They deserve all the flowers along with their partners who have helped them get there. Shout out to Radium. Solana DeFi on top for now and forever. 14, shout out to the homies at Coliseum. Breakout, the largest ever crypto hackathon. Incredible. 1,400 submissions from 140 countries. I could only name like 30 countries. I don't know. So congratulations to all the winners in here. Big congratulations to all the super teams that helped drive this, to Maddie and Nate, the rest of the team over at Coliseum for making this happen. Hackathons are a critical part of how builders kind of get going on Solana. Love to see that these keep getting bigger and better every single time over here. Always breaking records. And finally, I have to say it, Super Team stays winning. Shout out to Super Team, Zupa Team, Super Team, whatever you want to call it. Drop a little Super Team as a cheat code in the chat. I do have to apologize real quick. A bunch of the Super Team leads sent me specific wins for their countries. And honestly, there was just too many of them. There was like the whole 3 hours I would have needed to go through them all. There was just too much to go through. So we had to go very high level on this. But just so far this year, Super Team, the talent layer for Solana, building communities all around the world. More than 50,000 people this year have come to a Super Team event. More than $7 million has been earned in opportunities created by members for other members. $30 million raised, 150 jobs have been gotten for people in Super Team. This is incredible. If you are on Solana, if you are trying to contribute, get active in the ecosystem, As a builder, you want to build out a startup, an idea, you need a grant, you need any of that stuff. Super Team is where you need to go. And a special, I see Super Team Vietnam, Super Team Brazil, Super Team, a bunch of them in the chat. Special GM to Super Team Kazakhstan, my guy Talgat, just the latest in the family. So shout out to you guys. All right, folks. Whew. Should we just end the call now? I'm so tired. The chat is just cannot even keep going at this point. Super Team before Solana, just love to see it. Well, folks, we're going to keep going. We are already past, we're now at about 12,000 people on this call, but we're going to keep going anyway because I can't even stop because there's a lot more to go through. I'm going to take 1 second to take a sip. And in the meantime, Armstrong's saying I'm going to miss my flight today. Yeah, it's starting to look like that. It's starting to look like that. All right. That's all that happened. There's, by the way, a lot of other stuff. We had to cut a bunch of stuff, but that's 15 of the biggest wins on Solana as of late. If that does not make you bullish, I want you to call 911. I want you to go to a hospital, and I want you to get your goddamn head checked because there is nothing but bullishness over here on the fundamental Solana. This is an incredible time to be alive in the Solana ecosystem. With that said, let's get over into our next section, fan favorite section, actually, but also the one that makes me the most nervous. It is
definitely not financial advice.
Please remember that is the name of this segment. The idea here is to talk about some trends, kind of like level you up to get you a better sense of some of the major items that are happening on Solana that you might not know about, but that I think are critical to know about where Solana is going. So today we got 3 topics. I'm going to talk about digital asset treasuries. Then we're going to talk about proprietary AMMs, and then we're going to talk about Revcoins, which is a new meme that I'm trying to make. The goal here is that you're going to leave smarter than when you started the segment. So you give me 10, 15 minutes. I give you some insights onto the future of Solana and why things are so exciting over here. Let's start off with the digital asset treasury. Drop a little DAT in the chat if you're with me on this. Digital asset treasuries, we're going to cover a bunch of stuff. This one's probably going to be the longest, so just be aware of that. But a little bit of knowledge going to get dropped here. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is the #1 story in crypto, in my opinion, right now. This is the thing to watch. You'll see a lot of kind of TradFi people talking about it. Not enough crypto native people appreciate the size and scale of how important this is for the future of crypto and the future of Solana. Why is it so important? Well, crypto, as great as it is still pretty tiny. If you look at the global equities market, it's valued at about 125 trillion with a T. If you look at the global crypto market, it's about 4 trillion. Now, 4 trillion is great. Hey, no problem. But look at the size difference. I mean, I don't care what your wife told you, but size does matter in this case. If we as an industry were able to peel off just 3.5 or 4% of the value from global equities and bring that into cryptocurrencies, it would double the size of the industry overnight. All of the liquidity is still in the traditional equity markets, and for good reason. It's that important. That's right. This is why DATs are so interesting. Before we go into exactly how they function, let me just make a quick point. These are already starting to take off, and this is the story to watch for the next 3 to 6 months. Every person I talk to, every conference, this is what they're talking about. $80 billion over here. The most famous one, many of you would already have heard of, it's called MicroStrategy. Shout out to the G, Michael Saylor, up $30 billion on his. And now other people are trying to replicate that same model. The first thing you need to know, though, these are different than ETFs. ETFs, which stands for exchange traded funds, track the price at a 1-to-1 level of the underlying asset, right? So that you have to buy, sell, whatever. If there's more demand, less demand, et cetera, it goes up and down. And for good reason, there's a high regulatory burden to launch these. That's why there's actually not a live Solana spot ETF right now, but there is one for Bitcoin, there is one for Ether. They've had more time to apply and so on and so forth. They had the CME futures first, blah, blah, blah. It's a long story. The point is, these exchange traded funds, while cool, and while great for investor confidence, they're really high quality products because you know exactly what you're getting. They're hard to get to market. But the thing is, the markets, they want Solana. And so what we're seeing is the emergence of these digital asset treasury companies. What they do, the issuer or the sponsor will find a publicly listed company, and then either through a SPAC or what's called a reverse takeover, there's a few other kind of mechanisms, but the basic idea is you find a publicly listed company or get a publicly listed company, and the balance sheet for that company, the treasury for that company, you just put it all into crypto. So typically you'll raise, hundreds of millions of dollars to billions of dollars, and then just say, hey, we're raising this money just to go buy all this crypto. It's going to sit in this pile. This is what the company does mostly now. And then you put an equity wrapper around that so it can be traded on the NASDAQ. That's the way that this works. The cool thing here is that the price can change, right? So many of these trade at a pretty massive premium to the actual underlying assets that they have on the balance sheet. So you have $100 million worth of SOL, you're trading at $200 million, for example. With that, you can then, if you're trading at this premium, you can sell more shares and then buy more SOL. And then you have this kind of flywheel that just goes crazy. Very low regulatory burden to launch these because you can just do a SPAC or an RTO, and then they come in. So you're seeing a bunch of these. You're seeing a lot of these, again, not just for Solana, but for other ecosystems for good reason, right? Cash, the financial analyst. DATs, I think, are probably very good for Solana. I've included a few of the big ones over here. The reason that I think they're so important, they're built structurally to be these long-term buyers, right? They buy and they hold. Unlike ETFs, which buy, sell, they kind of whatever, these just buy and they hold them on the balance sheet, and then they go and they market it on CNBC and whatever else, telling other people to buy it as well. So it's a great way to have alignment between large holders of SOL and the Solana ecosystem. In the same way that Michael Saylor is clearly Bitcoin aligned, he's been awesome for Bitcoin, similar thing happens over here. They increase access as well. Again, because the ETFs are hard to get to market, this allows traditional finance places, hedge funds, family offices, your baby mama, my cousin's uncle, which I guess would be my uncle as well, can get exposure without having to do custody compliance and all that other kind of craziness around it. A lot of them also run validators and stake their SOL, which helps increase the decentralization of the network, which is actually quite good. And they normalize SOL as an asset. Here's the thing. When you see Amazon, Facebook, and then you see a Solana treasury company right afterwards, it makes Solana, it improves the brand of Solana, right? It makes it clear that, hey, this is a long-term investable asset that's going to be around for a while. Damn, not the baby mama. My cousin's uncle is my dad. Thank you, Simon, for clarifying this. I really should start scripting these calls rather than kind of freestyling them here. In any case, these DATs are a major, major story. And the ecosystems that have large-scale DATs are going to have a lot of attention, a lot of buy pressure, and a lot of activity for them in this kind of mainstream audience. This is why, if you are watching, this is one of the major themes to watch. That's why I say it's the number one most important thing. It's hard to say, okay, what does this actually affect? But certainly in the Ethereum world, we've seen people like Tom Lee do an incredible job kind of marketing the asset, telling the story. People like Michael Saylor for Bitcoin, and now we increasingly have them for Solana as well. But shit ain't all sweet. This sounds like a free money glitch, right? Go raise a bunch of money, go buy a bunch of SOL that sends the price of SOL up higher, then you raise more money to buy more SOL, and you just get this kind of infinite flywheel. It's not that sweet. First, it's worth pointing out that these premiums are not sustainable in the medium term. This is what everyone says behind closed doors. No one says it out front because they don't want to dampen the investor interest, but I'm here to give you the actual truth. These 12 months from now, there's just no chance that all of these are at these massive premiums. Maybe one or two, but most of them will be trading at the net asset value called the NAV. And that can create a problem. So I'm not saying that this is what is going to happen, but this is how this story, which seems so bullish and so interesting, here's how it could go wrong. First, there might be less demand. Right now, most of these DATs sell equity, aka shares, and they take the money they get from the share sale to then go buy the asset. If there is reduced demand because there's 50 different Solana DATs and it's hard to raise money, well, okay, what do you have to do next? Well, if you still want to do it, you then have to go raise debt, right? So you go get a loan from a bank or whatever else it might be, and then you use that debt then go buy the treasury asset. The problem is that introduces leverage into the system. And in a worst case scenario, if the price of SOL drops dramatically, or if any of these assets drop very dramatically, you could be in a position where in order to service your debt, you have to start selling SOL or any other asset, which then again can create this kind of reflexive loop. So this thing is not without its risks. It's why you'll see a lot of people say, hey, this is how the next bull cycle is going to end, for example. None of this is financial advice, obviously. That remember the name of the segment. But this is what's to know, that these are very interesting, and these also might have a little bit of risk existentially for the ecosystem. But I have a little bit of alpha as well. Do you guys want some alpha? You know, I no longer work at Supertime. I work at a place called Jupiter, and just like having a lot of friends who are also founders and talking to a lot of funds and these other kind of people, I've noticed this trend. I think the next wave is going to be some altcoin DATs. Shout out to the homies Bonk, my guy Nam, and everybody else who's a part of that. I think that they already have one kind of in the works, and I think you're going to see more of these coming as well. People who want longer tail exposure or longer tail assets that are further out on the tail of risk and want exposure there. These are great for altcoins because altcoins are even harder to buy than like Bitcoin, right? Which you can buy through an ETF, or ETH you can buy through an ETF. Altcoins are very difficult to buy through ETFs, right? And this can solve the overhang problem. Guy who's the founder of Athena put this really well, where he's like, hey, there's more venture capital that they're in this space than there is like actual liquid capital in the markets. And so a lot of tokens, when they have these unlocks, they end up, the price gets wrecked because the VCs are just dumping all over retail. People get very unhappy. The token price goes down. It's massively bad for the project, and so on and so forth. What you're going to see here is that with these kind of assets, if used properly, the VCs or the team or whoever else it might be can actually give their tokens, instead of selling it on the open market, you can sell it into the digital asset treasury. And this can allow public liquidity to come in. So there's not necessarily enough liquidity on chain for all these projects, but there is enough liquidity in the public markets, as I talked about earlier. So this could be incredibly bullish for projects that can then kind of keep building sustainably without having to worry about all these unlocks over their heads. There's not a lot of projects that are going to be able to do this. I think basically every project is going to try to, but you have to be able to tell a real story and have real revenues that an institution could accept. And so that's the alpha for you. The last thing I will say real quick is I was talking to my buddy Akshay BD, W's for Akshay in the chat, one of the progenitor of Super Team and just an awesome dude. We were talking about this earlier today. He had a line I loved. We're heading into a future where every profitable company becomes a digital asset treasury. His thought is, if you are any kind of company, rather than just holding dollars on the balance sheet, you might want to also start holding other assets like Sol, like Bitcoin, as an inflation hedge to get some price premium, to kind of diversify your treasury, to build a better narrative for the public markets, because clearly the markets like it right now. This is another kind of trend to watch over here. All right, that's all I got on DATs. Tell me, is that good, useful? Did I go too long on that? I don't know. I think that this is a massively important thing for the industry right now. So drop a little W if you're still with me. I just see so many W's in the chat. I can't even find the real comments right now. So we're going to have to go through all the comments before we do this giveaway later on. Okay, major thing there. Two other things, and then we're going to talk to Eno on the definitely not financial advice proprietary AMMs. This is a big one. It's a shorter one, though. Here's the thing. Market microstructure on Solana is rapidly improving, and not enough people are talking about it, right? Really, this is something that only like DeFi nerds talk about, but lucky for you, I'm a DeFi nerd, and so I'm here to tell you a little bit about it. This is a really big deal. Microstructure, if you've heard market microstructure, if you've heard that phrase, what it refers to is the actual kind of plumbing of how trades and transactions go through. Are they fast? Are they slow? Is there slippage? Is there not slippage? Those kinds of things are what we refer to when we talk about market microstructure. And bad market microstructure repels liquidity and keeps people on centralized exchanges or in TradFi. Good market microstructure will bring on liquidity, bring on more users, and so on, because it's a better trading environment or better environment to execute in. Proprietary market makers, also called dark AMMs by people who don't like them, or ghost AMMs, are the fundamental reason why. It's a major trend that's been happening. I think I have a little chart here. Oh, I'll talk about that in a second. The difference is, at a very high level, you have automated market makers, Uranium, Meteora, Orca, etc., and then you have proprietary AMMs, which you might call SolFi, ZeroFi, Humidify, GoonFi, if you've heard of any of these. GoonFi, definitely the funniest of the names. The major difference is it's passive liquidity versus active liquidity. You can go to Meteora right now, deposit Sol and USDC, pick your price range, and then go get a burger or whatever else it is. It's passive. The protocol kind of handles it for you. These prop AMMs are using their own money and actively managing that liquidity. They don't even have a front end. You couldn't even go to use ZeroFi if you wanted to, like to deposit liquidity. Only those guys get to do it. And then they use aggregators like Jupiter and others in order to actually get flows. The big thing, the reason that these are making such a big difference, AMMs are fundamentally a bit inefficient. They can have a lot of slippage if there's a lot of price movement, and you can get MEV'd because it's all very public when the pool is moving. These prop AMMs help reduce that MEV and improve the efficiency, right? So you actually get less slippage and so on. This is just one example of how big of a trend this is right now. We're again just looking at Jupiter volume, just because this was the dashboard that I could find. But nearly half of the volume that's going through here is happening through these prop AMMs right now. That is crazy. That's like, we're talking hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars every week. I mean, definitely billions of dollars every week that's happening. The takeaway, though, is that this is great for Solana. It's a trickier question for other individual players in Solana, but it's extremely bullish in my opinion because it makes our execution on par with centralized exchanges, and it's necessary if we ever want to move a lot of that liquidity off of traditional markets and onto crypto rails and onto Solana specifically. I just was doing this. You can see I have insufficient USDC because I don't have $1 million, but you could do $1 million trade for Sol with 3 bips of slippage. That's incredible. Like 2 years ago, this would have been impossible. And it's because of teams like Humidify and others that are actually doing these. Now, there's downsides to this. It's a little bit shadowy. They're closed source and so on and so forth. But ultimately, I think anything that improves market microstructure for Solana is very bullish, and it's going to bring more traders, more liquidity. You pair this with stuff like BAM and application controlled execution, and just like the sky is the limit here. Half of all volume is insane, says Vidian. He's absolutely right. Now, it's worth saying that this really only works for the major assets. Long tail assets still are very difficult to do this for. There's just not enough liquidity. There's not enough price movement, et cetera. It's hard to quote very tightly. So AMMs, I think, will still continue for a long time, but this is a trend to watch. What happens with these private market makers versus these AMMs? Little beyond for you. Cash is casually promoting bulk without mentioning bulk. Extremely bullish, but it's great for the space and it's really good for Solana. It's one of the things that gets me really excited. Here's the third thing that gets me excited. Oh my God, I'm so far behind on time. I'm definitely missing this flight. If anyone here is a pilot on Etihad Airlines, if you could call and delay the flight, that'd be really appreciated. Okay, we're going to go very quickly through this last one though. Definitely not financial advice, Revcoins. So you've heard me talk about internet capital markets. We've talked about it on this call. We've talked about it on Twitter. Many people talk about it. It's not a unique idea to me. But capital markets oftentimes get talked about just in the context of capital formation. Launching tokens on platforms like Bonk and Pump and Believe and Jupe Studio and whatever else, or through ICOs and things like that nature, like Echo and Legion and all these other kind of platforms. That's great. And that's an important part of the internet capital markets thesis. But it's not just about that. In my opinion, where the space gets really interesting is where you experiment and expand across the capital stack. And so today, I'm going to try and meme something into existence. I think I made this up. I'm not sure. Maybe I stole this. If I stole this from you, I'm very sorry. I didn't know I was doing it. But I want to meme into the existence the idea of Revcoins. Revcoins are tokens that have direct value accrual with the revenues of the underlying protocol or business. And this is an important thing because I think we're seeing a lot of this happen on Solana more so than other ecosystems. And this puts to bed this idea that, oh, there's only meme coins on Solana. No, there's actually incredibly interesting experiments in the future of capital markets happening. I am about to mention tokens by name. Remember that this segment is called definitely not financial advice. Please do not make me regret this, all right? Do not buy anything that I'm going to talk about. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm going to have to swear here. If you buy based on what I say, you are a fucking idiot and you are going to lose your money, okay? So let's just be super clear here. I'm trying to talk about the cool thing that projects are doing. Legal was very clear about that one. Yes, Swappo, we got points coming up later. Don't you worry about that. So what we're seeing are some really cool experiments, and I just want to give flowers to people that are trying cool things on chain. D-Bridge, really high quality bridge. Shout out to everyone that I know and love over there. 100% of their protocol revenue goes back to buyback DBR. Step Finance, longtime Solana team. Shout out to my guy George and the rest. 100% of their protocol revenue goes back to buy Step on the open market and then distribute it to X-Step holders. Jito, third or fourth time being mentioned on this call, 100% of their revenue from tips, priority fees, restaking goes to their DAO. And Bonk doing a lot of great stuff here. 50% of their Launchpad revenue goes back to buy and burn Bonk. And then they do a bunch of other stuff that's kind of like pro ecosystem with the rest of it. This is incredibly cool experimentation that we're seeing here. Other protocols that we're seeing are doing more things on the 50-50 side. And there what you're seeing is this kind of alignment between the users and the token holders, that if the product does well, if the protocol does well, the holders do well. And it gives the holders an incentive to go out and evangelize. You're seeing this at Jupiter, where 50% of all on-chain fees go to the Litterbox Trust, which then accumulates Jupe. I think it's accumulated like 85 million Jupe so far. Metaplex, 50% of their protocol fees used to accumulate their token for the use of the Metaplex DAO treasury. Flash Trade, super team members themselves, 50% of their protocol fees actually go to the token holders directly. Very interesting model. A lot of experimentation happening here. And we're seeing this across AMMs as well. Radium is doing this. Orca is doing this. Lifinity might have been one of the first to do it. And even Pump has been doing it. They're doing a little bit more ad hoc, but up to 97% of their revenues lately as well. The point of this is to say there are cool experiments happening that are kind of defining the future of capital markets. Solana is where those experiments are happening. Revenue generating businesses belong on Solana. Internet capital markets belong on Solana. Pushing the meta forward, that's what we do at Solana. Drop a little W in the chat for me, folks, if you are on board. These were 3 major trends that I think are worth knowing and talking about: digital asset treasuries, proprietary AMMs, and microstructure on Solana, and Revcoins. We'll see if that catches on or not. But in any case, I think it's a cool thing to call out. Whew. All right. With that said, that's we are at 40. Oh my God, I'm not even going to look at the clock anymore. Without any further ado, let me bring on the homie. You know him, you love him. Of course.
Solana is global.
Solana is global. My boy, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey, Cash. What country is this signed backwards?
No, you're good. You're good. No, it's right. It's right.
Hi, everyone. My name's Eno. I'm the Chief Vibes Officer over at Sanctum. But today, I'm going to be your global correspondent, taking you all around the world so that we can talk about all the Solana events that are happening, so that you know where you need to be, so that you can be in the middle of the action. And of course, the first thing that we're going to talk about is Super Team APAC. It is Asia season. The last time that we did our call over in May, it was the time of Europe. But this month, we're going to be talking about all the events that are happening all throughout Asia. I am trying to speed through this so that Cash can make it through to his flight. And so the very first event that we're going to talk about is over in Bali. And shout out over to An Tran, who is the lead of Super Team APAC. He's been doing an absolutely wonderful job coordinating all of these startup villages that they are back to back to back. So moving on to the next slides, Cash, you're just gonna have to get your finger right over the next button. All right.
Let's go.
So going with Super Team Bali. Now, look, I was talking to the lead of Super Team Bali this morning, and he was telling me that he is in talks with the government to provide full support for all kinds of Solana projects that want to operate in the country legally. And of course, everybody knows that Indonesia is one of the countries that blends together wellness as well as tech. So if you're looking to live a balanced lifestyle as well as to kill your protocols, you must absolutely check out Startup Village Bali. It actually started today. So major shout out to Super Team Bali as well as Steve. Moving on to Tokyo, man. I think about a year ago, Japan was not even on the map for Solana, but the alpha that I can give you here is that they have accrued the most amount of winners for the Coliseum hackathons over in Japan. So if you are looking for full support for your project, you must absolutely attend Startup Village Tokyo. You have to take your phones up, by the way. There's a lot of QR codes in the corner, and if you scan those QR codes, you can attend those startup villages. Thank you very much. Don't worry about it. You don't have to bring those up. But thank you very much to Hisashi-san and the rest of the Super Team Japan teams. We, of course, have Super Tokyo smack dab in the middle of the Startup Village Tokyo. And of course, we have to talk about Korea. I am, of course, born in America, but my parents are Korean. And if you come over to Seoul, I promise I will buy you a bottle of soju. And we have Startup Village over in Seoul, and we have a couple of events over there. Number one, it's smack dab in the middle of Korea Blockchain Week. And of course, we have the Solana Seoul Mixer. You definitely don't want to miss that. But also in Seoul, moving on to the next slide, we have the first stablecoin and RWA conference in Solana history. It is called Solana Stable Future. We're bringing together the top protocols on Solana who are building stablecoin and RWA protocols. And of course, as Cash always says, stablecoin inflows are a great measurement of a blockchain's health. And moving very quickly now over to man, Cash, I don't know if I'm going fast enough. Major shout out to our friends over at Super Team SG, who are putting on Ignition Season 4. And the thing about Ignition Season 4, it is the best way to raise money on Solana. So if you are not effing around, you need to come to Singapore. And in fact, I won't say too much. I'll just say that Cash spends a lot of time here, right? And that's for a reason. And moving on, of course, that all culminates into Solana Apex Singapore, which is on September 30th. If you are in the APAC region, you must absolutely join us over in Singapore. Cash, if they don't come to Singapore, I think they're not going to make it. Don't you think?
I think that you're definitely, you go, well, I won't besmirch another ecosystem, but yes, you should absolutely come. I will be there myself. I'm sure you'll be there as well. You know, it's going to be an absolute blast in MBS. Solana event. Yeah. Just again, bigger. Shout out to Ellie and the rest of the gang.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is going to be an absolute banger. And moving on from Singapore, the last event that we have over in APAC, the Asia Pacific region, is, of course, Startup Village Hanoi. Shout out over to Hugh. And the one thing that I want to say that's really, really important about Vietnam is that for years, Vietnam has been working in a gray zone. But now we have the law on digital technology industry that has been recently passed. It is going to be active starting from January 1st, 2026, which means that crypto is finally legal in Vietnam. It is a country you must absolutely not missed out on. It officially legalizes the ownership and usage of crypto assets in Vietnam. And by the way, my favorite city in the world, and no offense to Korea and Japan and America and all these places that I spend a lot of time in, is Da Nang. So shout out to Vietnam. Moving very quickly now over to other events outside of APAC. Of course, we have Island DAO. I went to Greece for the first time earlier this year. And when I went there, I finally understood why so many mythic gods have been created in that country, because it is truly a beautiful place. And the island of Mykonos is a place that you must be. Shout out to our friends over at Island DAO, specifically Dean the Machine. He's done a wonderful job organizing this event. And moving on from Island DAO, of course, we cannot fade India, all right? India is the OG super team. If it was not for India, we would not have super team. We would not have this global movement. And I'm telling you, Cash, when I see a map these days, I don't see borders. I see builders. I see people who are coming together to build the best damn products, not just on Solana, but in the world. And we have to give a big, big shout out to our friends over in India. And Mumbai, by the way, is the Wall Street of India. So if you're trying to get your foothold in one of the biggest, actually, I think the biggest subcontinent in the world, you must absolutely be over at Solana Apex Mumbai. And the last slide that I have for you today is, of course, the biggie. It is called Solana Breakpoint. You know it, you love it, and okay, look. Alex, I know you are here. Alex is the lead of Super Team UAE, and I have to say that Alex changed my life. I'm going to glaze here just a little bit, because if it wasn't for Alex, I would not be traveling the world and talking to different builders. There are dozens of people in this chat that I've met personally. That whole journey was kicked off by Solana Founders Villa over in the UAE, and so we're bringing it back home over to Abu Dhabi, and we're going over. And in fact, I think, Cash, you spend quite a lot of time over in the UAE for reasons that are very obvious to people who know you very well. So please scan that QR code and reserve. And last public service announcement: if you have not reserved your hotels for Abu Dhabi, you are screwed. Do it right now. Do not wait. We have F1. We have a finance week. I mean, you are not going to get hotels if you do not book them right effing now. So, Cash, do you agree? We got to do this, right?
I fully agree. Get onto it. Go follow Alex. He's got a ton of great insights on how to get around the region. But we might have a little sweet treat for folks here as well. You know,
very sweet treat.
You set this up over here. What do we have now?
We have 3 Breakpoint tickets up for grabs, and all you have to do is you have to tag Ellie. And if you guys don't know who Ellie is, you owe her a great debt of gratitude, because if it was not for Ellie, we would not have Solana. When I joined Solana, it was like at $8, and I am telling you right now that the vibes were bad. The vibes were very, very bad. But the one thing that kept the community together, well, actually 2 things. Number 1, the Solana Ecosystem Call, and number 2 is Ellie, because she was putting on these events when it was a thankless job. And now everyone thinks it's such a cushy job, but I am telling you, this was a very, very difficult job at that time. She was putting on all the hacker houses, even the Apex series, and now Breakpoint from start to finish. So, and if you went to Accelerate, you know the quality of her events. So I implore you, please scan this QR code and tell Ellie why you want to go to Breakpoint. And last thing I want to say, just because we have so many people over in Nigeria who are watching, these watch parties, what did they sup? How far, my friends?
What's going on? You became like an honorary Nigerian in the last week. I've been seeing this on Twitter as well. What is?
I just say I don't play favorites when it comes to Super Team. I would just say that I love Niger. That's all I got to say. So, anyways, peace out. This has been your global correspondent for Solana events. Thank you very much for having me, Cash, and I will see you on the next one. Adios.
You're the best, buddy. Thank you for everything you do for the ecosystem. Much.
Go. You got to make your flight. You got to make your flight.
That's true. All right.
Go.
Cheers, brother. Thank you very much. Go. Folks, go get this Breakpoint ticket. Go tell Ellie at Platis_E or scan this QR code. Tell her why you want to go. 3 free tickets to Breakpoint being given away right now. All right, let's keep it going. We got about 10 minutes left. Oh, that's me. What am I doing? Oh.
We are so early.
we got another segment. God, shout out to the AI that has really just improved the production quality of these calls. Pretty basic stuff. This section is all about spotlighting some projects that are worth knowing. The first one has got to be the Seeker. This is a big deal, folks. Again, I cannot say, hey, is this going to like end the smartphone duopoly? I sure hope so. But I know this for a fact. This product is damn good. Here's what you need to know about the Solana Seeker. The biggest kind of advancement, I mean, there's a bunch, but the biggest one is this native seed vault. It's an incredible combination of this kind of hardware wallet and this kind of software wallet. So you get the best of both worlds. You can use the seed vault. It is stored on the phone, entirely separate from the rest of the Android operating system. So in that sense, it functions exactly like a cold wallet does. But with just like a single tap and a little scan of your finger, you can then sign for transactions. Super easy. The guys at Solana Mobile actually made this from the ground up in partnership with Solflare. This is not just a regular wallet on there. There's nothing like this anywhere else. Incredibly cool. Outside of that, the Solana dApp Store, I'm incredibly bullish on. I love the idea of improving discovery. That's part of the reason that this call exists, is to help kind of improve discovery of new protocols, but it's hard, right? I have other stuff. I got a full-time job, so I'm not always here doing this. But the Seeker, I think, is going to help make that happen. And in addition to that, it's just a great phone. Honestly, so phones have started shipping right now. You can hang tight for yours. And shout out to the team. They gave me a little bit of alpha to share. In September, stay tuned to the Solana Mobile handle. Seeker season is coming, and they have some very big plans. So having a Seeker is a great idea for this. Building for the Seeker is a great idea for this. Keep your eyes peeled on that. And now, I'm going to give away a few as well. We're going to give away 3 Seekers, each one of them worth $500. Now, this one is only for my watch party attendees. So shout out to all the watch parties here. Here's what I ask. Post a selfie from your IRL watch party, tag at Solana Mobile and at Super Team on Twitter. I think that there's a preloaded tweet here that says, like, I wish I was taking this from my Seeker. They're going to randomly pick 3 people from around the world to send a free phone to. So you can take the selfie at the end of the call. Don't have to worry about the time of it necessarily. But if you're at the IRL event, here's the little alpha for you. I think it's $500, Paul, to let you know all the cameras are now out. Here you go. You can scan this QR code to do it as well. Shout out to the Seeker team. We're going to try to have Toli and Emmett on next time we do this as well to talk even more about it. But yeah, this is why you got to go to the IRL meetups, folks. Not only is it more fun, but you get exclusive giveaways like this. 3 of them going out to the world. And then we have another one that I want to share here, which is the homies over at Hilo. Fun little story. I actually met one of the founders, OX Blish, on Reddit. He was talking about how do I get involved in the Solana ecosystem. I messaged him. I was like, hey, you should go check out Super Team. You go check out Mountain DAO and stuff. And here we are like a year and a half later, and he's built one of the fastest growing DeFi protocols here. This is not an endorsement necessarily. It's a new protocol. You should go do your research. But I wanted to flag it as something to watch because I think it's got a very cool thing. And a lot of the people watching this call are going to be interested in this, I think. So GM to Hilo. Liquidation-free leverage, highest yielding stablecoin on Solana. Here's how it works. Hilo has a few different products, but the 2 major ones are HYUSD, which is a stablecoin. It's an over-collateralized stablecoin by other LSTs. And through it, if you stake it, you can actually get this incredible APY on it. It's 21% right now, which is crazy. Now, that APY is coming from the underlying LSTs, Judo Sol, Jupe Sol, whatever else it might be. All of that APY gets given back to the stablecoin itself. So you use your LST to mint that stablecoin. The other product that they have is called XSOL. XSOL is a token that naturally gives you leverage between 2 and 4x leverage, but very interestingly, no liquidation risk. It's actually incredibly interesting. People should go read more about this. I actually don't have as much time as I would like to do this, but the idea is that XSOL actually absorbs the SOL price movements and has helped backing HYUSD as well so that it can maintain its peg. So if the collateral ratio, I think right now it's about 195% for HYUSD. If it goes down below 140, they're able to start selling off some of the other assets to bring it back up to power and put it back into a safe place. Very cool, advanced mechanism, something that people should, again, do your research before you check this out. But the homies over at Hilo, they made it a little bit easy for folks. We're going to give people a 15% XP boost in their point system just for watching this call. This is only active for the next 72 hours. Use the code SUPERTEAM when signing up for Hilo. And instead of the 5% XP bonus that everyone else gets, you as a dear watcher of this call get 15%, triple the boost that you're going to get anywhere else. And one lucky person who activates and deposits at least 1 SOL into worth of Hilo products is going to get $2,000 of HYUSD as well for their trouble. So you can go check this out. Again, what I love about Solana is DeFi innovation and people trying new things, bringing it to the chain. Is this going to work in the long run? I sure hope so. I don't know for sure. Do your own research first. I'm not endorsing this. I'm just saying that these are great builders working on a cool project, trying things in a new direction. So that you should definitely go check out. Use the code SUPERTEAM when you sign up to get 15% point boost. Put in 1 Sol for a chance of winning $2,000 right back to you. Pretty Jamilo is what Ilo says in the chat. Speaking of points programs, oh my God, I'm definitely going to miss this flight. Speaking of points programs, I just wanted to talk real quick about some others. Again, I don't have time on this call to go through all the amazing projects on Solana. There are literally hundreds of them, but there are a few projects that have points programs that kind of incentivize you to go around and explore. This is a great slide to screenshot, quite honestly, or take a little photo of, because I'm not going to go through each one of them. But here are seven products that have different points programs going on right now. Obviously, shout out to the homies over at Meteora and Huma Finance, my guy Herbal and the rest. Love this product. I use both of those. I actually use all of these products, if I'm being honest, except golfing, because I don't golf, but I do like golfing and what they're trying to do. So take a photo of this, take a screenshot of this, go check these out. One of the cool things about these points programs is that there are ways to incentivize you to kind of try out an early stage protocol, right? You kind of bootstrap the usage of the protocol. By doing this, you can go check all of these out over here. And oh, by the way, we got even more of them over here. So another 7 or 8 over here. Shout out to my guy, Thomas over at Exponent, Neutral Trade, been doing great stuff. EnSoFi out of Super Team, been doing really cool things as well. And I mean, a bunch of these are from Super Team and a bunch of them are very cool. Bad Chain participate in their weekly roast campaigns on X to earn points and 2 bad rewards. I think it's pretty funny. Again, take a little photo of this, take a screenshot of this so you know these are projects that you can go try out, get incentivized with some points. You'll get to explore the future of Solana at the same time as potentially earning some rewards for yourself. So it's a win-win over here. This took a long time to put together, so I appreciate everyone who responded. Check those out. Obviously, this is also not financial advice. Do not full port into any of these, you goddamn degenerates. I'm not telling you to go do this. Do your own research. I'm just trying to help improve the exploration of new projects on Solana. People like this slide. We'll do this every time if people like it. It took a while to put together. But if you like this, drop a little W in the chat and let me know if we should keep this going if we do this call again. Hopefully it gives this is what alpha looks like, right? It's hard to know about all of these that are coming. All right, Mike likes it. Tay likes it. All right, as long as people like it, then then we'll keep going. Shout out to Aramos as well in the chat. All right, running out of time. I got one last thing. What is this one? Oh,
Earn your crypto.
I'm definitely going to miss this flight. I got multiple sections still to go. All right, earn your crypto. You'll hear this. You hear us say this all the time at Super Team. Earn your first crypto. Don't necessarily buy it. I wanted to flag a few opportunities on earn.superteam.fun. Shout out to Dolani and the rest of the Earn gang, doing incredible work. That platform's ridiculous. I think more than $7 million have been earned on that platform already. It's nuts. A few bounties and things to show to you. First, $1,000 content bounty from the homies over at Streamflow to talk about their active staking rewards. ASR and how that actually works. So you can go find that over there. $1,000 bounty, again, for content. Shout out to Wi-Fi Dubba, Super Team India members. There, you can now create content to participate there as well. Earn.superteam.fun. If you are trying to contribute to the ecosystem, if you want to start earning your crypto, that's where you need to go. And I want to highlight something else. I've been seeing a lot of talk around how to find a job in the Solana ecosystem. The Solana job board is awesome. Hundreds of jobs. Great place to go. But sometimes you can use a little extra boost. You might need to open some doors. So I wanted to give a special shout out here to Super Team Talent, to my guy Noe and the rest of the team who put this together. It was one of the kind of final things I helped to work on at my time at Super Team, but those guys have done all the work, an incredible job. They find all the Solana protocols that are hiring and act as a recruitment agency for Solana by Solana. For you as the talent, it's entirely free. They work with partners like Squads, Raikou, Jupiter, Backpack Bags, Ranger, Huma, Exponent, and many more. You can go to talent.superteam.fun to sign up. There's a Backpack is hiring right now. Shout out to the homie Armani, the mad lad himself. They're looking for a wallet engineer. This is one of the offerings that if you put in your profile, they will talk to the team and send that profile over. They'll filter it for the team and send over the top 3. There's jobs at Squads, a senior backend engineer, one of the best teams you could possibly join. My guy Stepan and the rest of the team, they're just absolute killers. And a job at Exponent as well, who we just mentioned, Thomas and the rest of them, content lead. So if you're not necessarily a developer, content is a place that you can go over here. A lot of other people are hiring. Jupiter is hiring. I think Orca is hiring. I think basically every major Solana project is hiring right now. So you can go to talent.superteam.fun to get signed up for their placement program. You can go to jobs.solana.fun to see the job board. All right, folks. All right, we're past time. Zooming out. So we got 2 sections left. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. Zooming out is a section I wanted to include because I wasn't sure if this call would be long enough. And I thought it was really useful just to think about how far we've come, right? Lately, there's a lot of talk about whatever, like the news of the day, and it's very easy to get lost in the it's very easy to get lost in the kind of minutia. If you zoom out, the amount of progress we've made as an ecosystem is just absolutely insane. So DeFi TVL over the last 3 years, from July 2025 or 23 to 24 to 25. Sorry, that's just 2 years, up 3,000%. In 2023, it was less than, what is that, $500 million. Now it's up near 10 billion. W. Non-voting transactions, the amount of people that are actually using the network for things, that is up by almost 400%. That's a W. Average TPS up also about 400%. Not surprisingly, that's a W. Application revenue is up 36,000% in 2 years. If this is what we're doing in 2 years, can you imagine what the next 2 years look like? I cannot. This is just absolutely incredible. Stablecoin supply up 600% in 2 years. Stake Sol, pretty similar, which is good. But liquid stake Sol is dramatically increasing. That is what's good to see. If you haven't already, stake your goddamn soul. You know I say it all the time. All right. But this is just, I wanted to show this because I was going through the numbers. I was like, this is incredible. 2 years of progress. What's going to happen in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Just ask yourself. If this is what we've done in the last 2 years, the future is very, very bright. All right, last thing I'm going to say real quickly. We have this.
Solana Confessions.
And that's me as the bishop. I put this out. This was a bad idea. I'm just going to tell you right now. I put up an idea of like Solana Confessions, like Confessions. The confessions that came through, a lot of them were too spicy for this call, honestly. A lot of people calling each other scammers and stuff like that. I was like, I can't do that here. So there's some real quick ones that I thought were funny to end on a little fun note, because this has been a call filled with kind of like deep technical information and deep kind of future of the industry information. So just to make us laugh a little bit, somebody confessed they're a reputed person in the ecosystem. They launched a token. It did $30 million of volume. And then when it was announced that there was nothing in works for the token and that he burned all the tokens, or she, it dumped to zero immediately, gotten death threats from it. PSA, don't ever launch a coin. I thought this was pretty funny. F in the chat for this one over here. Let it be known, launching a token is not for the weak of heart. Make sure you're doing it responsibly, I will say. The next one here, actually, I think I know who put this in. I lost my ledger, which had $5.65 million worth of SOL at some event in Dubai. Never got it back. Interestingly, Alex Scott has been seen riding in a Ferrari ever since that time. Very, very curious timing. I don't know, but remember, we will be giving away 2 ledgers yourself. These flex things are awesome. Always back up your codes, folks. Write it down, keep it in a safe, open a bank account, put it in a safe deposit box, do something. Put it away, stay safe. Don't be like this person. Another confession, I put aside 10% of my winning trades for my daughter's college fund. It's all in SOL and staked. Shout out Jupe Sol. Shout out all the stakes sold out there as well, generating juicy APY, only possible on Solana. This is the kind of confession I like to see. Taking profits. Folks, I'm here to tell you, take profits. I know it feels bad. I know it hurts, but take profits, folks. You will. As someone who's lost a lot, I can tell you that's pretty fun. But be careful with it. This was a funny one. I woke up to an airdrop of 1 billion tokens from Meow. Thought it was spam, burned it all in Sol Incinerator. Shout out to Slorg of the Slugs. Later that day, got listed on a DEX and mooned 4,000%. And now my friends send me cat gifts every single day. F's in the chat. So sorry to see it. That is a tough one. And then finally, got fired from a company 2 weeks before my tokens were supposed to vest. Their number one competitor reached out to me for an interview, and I told them things I probably shouldn't have. Got hired the same week. Now I FUD every post for my old company under an alt. Never been happier. I don't know. I just thought this is a good confession to get off your chest. Trying to end on a little bit of a light note. I don't know if I'll do this again. I think these were too spicy in general to do. But F's in the chat. All right, folks. My plane is about to leave. You all have been incredibly kind with your time. I hope that you've enjoyed it. A lot of work goes into these calls, and I really hope that you are leaving with the same feeling that I'm leaving with, that things are great for Solana. They're only getting better. The network itself, the teams on the network, the traditional and mainstream adoption of the network, everything is going up and to the right now. It might not always. And even when it doesn't, the one thing I know for sure, the Solana community will be there no matter what. That's all of you. So thank you very much for coming out. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you found a few new projects that you can go check out. And you will see me hopefully very soon. Shout out to the team that makes this possible. Me, Eno, Shriji, Goatfish, Little Unusual, my guy Yoda as well. Appreciate all of you. You don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. Good